Grade 12s, welcome back to what will hopefully be one of the last EE videos you have to watch from me this year. We are now getting very, very close to wrapping all of your EE work up, so this is just a video about some of the things that we need to be doing before the Christmas break hits, okay? So follow along, feel free to stop and pause as you complete the tasks that I'm going through today. And if you have any questions, please get in touch. You can contact me on my email as per usual, or if it's urgent, Google Chat, or you can always pop by and find me either in Art 301 in the economics office or down in the high school office. But let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is you actually need to go back into ManageBack for me. Now, just in case you've forgotten, remember when you open ManageBack, it's going to open with a dashboard screen like what you're looking at here, okay? You need to go into IB Coordinator and click Extended Essay. I assume most of you have been able to do that. You've all been sort of clicking through things lately, so hopefully you all got that far. Now I'm just going to minimize me a little bit so I'm not so in the way. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we are going to be ticking off our tasks. Now some of you have done this throughout the process, others of you have kind of just left that bit, you've done the work, but you haven't kind of been routinely ticking off the work. So in order to make it just simple and straightforward and ensure that we're checking accurately that everything is done, what I want you to do is I want you to come back to your original to-do list, okay? And I want you to look through the tasks that we have here. So the first thing is the ManageBack Extended Essay Proposal, and that should pretty much all be ticked. The first two are you ticking, so meeting with your supervisor, setting a question, approving student proposal. Now one thing you might like to think about, even once you've now ticked those three things, is that you might have changed your question or your subject or the category. And so what I want you to do is if any of that information up here has changed, I'd like you to go into Edit Extended Essay Proposal, and that will allow you just to update that information. So put in your final question that you've gone with, make sure you're selecting your subject. Now if you're a World Studies, you may be initially just selected a base World Studies, you didn't actually put the detail in. Now you can select exactly what your essay was, so conflict, peace and security, environment and economic sustainability, whichever it was. Can you please tick that and make sure it's correct as well? And then just make sure that you click Save Changes, so all of those updates are then reflected when we get back onto your worksheet. So, first task's ticked. Moving on to the second. The second is about reflection. Now this is a test student account, so that's why some of these aren't ticked. But for you, obviously your first reflection, you should have met with your supervisor and you should have written your first reflection, which should have been 100 to 250 words. Once you've done those two things, these two boxes are yours to tick. The third is for your supervisor to tick, okay? So you'll notice that if it's for your supervisor, you can't click it, you just get a little no circle, all right? If you're not sure, please remember that to complete your reflection, it must appear here. So reflections on planning and progress, and then your first reflection is at the top, second and third. Now, if you've written your reflection, 1, 2, not 3 perhaps, and you've run out of words, you'll notice at the bottom somewhere it will say the recommended length of all fields is 500 words, because that's the total word limit, and you've got this many available. If you realize you've run out of words before getting to your final reflection, that's not a disaster. You need to go to your supervisor and ask them to unlock your reflection for you. So if anyone has trouble doing this, please let me know. But it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure they unlock it so you can edit those final reflections and have them put back in. Remember, once you type in a reflection, you need to click Save Changes and head back onto your worksheet. So, you've set up your proposal, you've done your reflection 1, you've presumably uploaded your EE draft because we're well past that stage now, and then you should have also completed your second reflection. So again, double checking that reflection appears in that reflections workspace. You've met with your supervisor, you've written your reflection, and then that last one is a lock for your supervisor to click, okay? Next up is the final submission. Now this is where we need to do a little bit of checking. Most of you correctly uploaded your essays, but a few of you only added your document here. You didn't actually upload it. So what you need to do for me is you need to check by clicking on Final Extended Essay Submission. Clicking on any of these blue texts takes you to the task instruction. And so what you should see here is there should be a file, okay? Now, if there isn't a file, that means you might have uploaded it in the wrong spot. So you just need to choose a file and upload it here. Now, I'm not going to upload one right now, but please make sure that you upload and then click the blue Upload Files button, all right? Once you've done that, you are able to tick Complete Final EE Checklist and Submit Essay. Please make sure you tick off both of these things, and then you can head on straight back to your worksheet again, all right, by clicking Extended Essay. So, final submission, please make sure that you are checking that submission and you are checking it that it is in the right spot. So it shouldn't just be Add Document. You should have clicked through Final EE Submission and uploaded it on that task screen. Make sure this bit is ticked off, and that will then almost bring us to our third reflection. But before we talk about the third reflection, there's one more thing about your essay that you need to check for me. Okay, so the last thing you need to check for me is you need to be checking the Turnitin Report. So to do this, okay, if you're looking from your worksheet, if you go back into that final extended essay submission task, you'll see that I now have a document here. So you've uploaded an essay using this file and it will appear as a Dropbox file here. You need to come over and click Feedback Studio. Now this is going to flag as all sorts of plagiarized because it's a news article that I've just uploaded. But when you load yours, you should see this happening for an essay, okay? Now, things to think about. Firstly, you should have one document here. If you've got more than one document, can you please make sure that you come and see me so we can check which is the correct document and delete the others, all right? So you should have one document only. That document will have a number here, okay? Green means not too much of a problem, but it doesn't matter what color it is, I still want you to check it, okay? So it doesn't matter if the number is 1% in green or 99% in red, I want you to click this. So you're going to select it, and it's going to open the Turnitin Feedback Studio directly for you so that you're able to see the entire report. Now, if you need a tour, it will often give you this screen that allows you to kind of work out where things are. But if you think you're comfortable with it, you can just ignore that. I'm going to move me out of the way again so that we can look at this. So this red bit here is the important part you're seeing on your screen. We can see our 13% match, and we can also see our filtering options. All right, so let's click the 13%. Now, a lot of you are worried when you see this because you see that a lot of quotes or citations are actually matching. You can remove those by clicking this filter, excluding quotes, exclude bibliography, and then come back and click it. Now, I'd already done that before, so it's not showing any change for me, but for some of you, it might reduce your current percentage. Now what you want to do is you want to click each of the individual matches, and it will highlight the area. The things you are looking for are stretches of text like this one here, where there's a lot of highlight over a total sentence, and it's not been quoted, okay? Some of you might find this if you've removed just one word to paraphrase it, okay? That is not enough to make it a paraphrase statement. You need to fully change the structure and put it in your own words. So if you've done this, can I suggest either rewriting that sentence or changing it back to the original form and putting quote marks around it, okay? Now, hopefully most of you won't have to do any of this. But if you do find any things like this sentence right here, that is a fully repeated sentence, can you please make a note of it? You can download this file, okay, and you can download it in its current view showing those highlights. Take it to your supervisor and talk through what changes you might need to make to avoid any academic misconduct issues, okay? So check each of those references. Once you're done and you're happy that yours has everything appropriately quoted, cited, and there is a reference list at the end, you can exit out of Turnitin, you can just close that off and head back on over to Manage Back. Once you're back in Manage Back and you're happy that the final extended essay is done, make sure these two boxes are ticked, and we get to the third EE reflection. We're almost at the end, people. I know I've been through a lot today, but we just want to finalize everything and make sure everything's in its place. So, the third EE reflection, you'll notice it's currently got a deadline of Friday the 20th of November. I suspect some of you are not going to meet that, given that's tomorrow. But what I would say is what we want to do is we want you to have those reflection conversations with your supervisor sometime over the next week, max 2 weeks, okay? Because that gives your supervisor time to do their last part, which is adding their supervisor comment, okay? So you need to meet with your supervisor, have the reflection conversation, come back into Manage Back, and write that reflections on planning and progress, okay? That third reflection. Once you're done, tick them off, and your supervisor will check and lock. Now, if you want to prepare for that reflection, like you have for your past ones, remember you can always use the student Padlet. I have re-shared the link to it on the teeny post that this video is shared on. If you go to the Reflections tab, you will see there are reflection interview questions. There's also a guide on how to add them to Manage Back, just in case you've forgotten that, as well as a guide on roughly the kinds of things that you might include in your reflections. If you have any questions, please talk to your supervisor. Once you've done your 30 EE reflection, ticked it all off, your part in this process is done for the time being. Until we do final IB upload, you can now hands off, celebrate the EE is over. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You won't need to hear from me again until February. I hope you're having a bit of a break, and good luck with your mock exams in Jan. Bye!